Sometimes we talk about what we're buying. Sometimes I talk about what I'm buying. But today we're talking about what you are buying. You, the viewer, you have responded.
That's right. We are looking at the comments from our November 2021 What We'd Buy and going over your ideas.
It'll be kind of like the early years of theater in the round. Nothing was off limits. They were able to walk around naked and throw their poop and stuff. We didn't ask you for it, but we're excited to hear about it. Let's go ahead and...
The video starts right now.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat. Hello and welcome to The Day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We're talking about what you'd buy at the three budget levels, $10, $100, and $1,000. We're going to get into the comments. But before we do, if you would, consider hitting that like button if you like the video. By the end of it, it lets us know to keep making more videos like this.
It's the best way to support the channel with just the click of a button. You can get involved on a deeper level by going on over to Patreon. The link is in the description of the video. Today, we're talking about the cards that you would buy. Some of you gave us your advice. It was actually really cool. I saw like Lodestone Bauble. That's the first time I've ever seen that card was in the comments of this video. So thanks to you guys, you have actually opened our eyes to some cards as well. We're going to talk about some comments, go over the stuff that we think is cool, go over the stuff that we think is stupid. Let's just get into it.
I want to start with this comment because Sylvain Tellier said, of course, there's a chance that you guys will drive up the prices because we're at 25,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for that. But no, I don't think that's going to happen. We do not have the Professor or the Saffron effect yet.
The Rudy effect. Buying out all the metal workers, like a true champion of the earth.
But how can you take it seriously when this guy's shooting a laser penis at other guys? Come on, how can you not have fun?
Jake, this comment was cool. William said, I like Femaref Enchantress for around $20. This was a card that Jake and I hadn't seen before, but the abundance of Enchantress decks nowadays, this is a card that absolutely belongs in them and is probably a really good pickup.
Yeah, what's interesting about this card, one printing, $13.66 here. Whenever an enchantment is put into a graveyard from play, draw a card. Yeah, in an enchantments matters kind of build, you know, we always talk about your general, but you play Uril, which is very much like suit him up with enchantments, kill people with Voltron damage. I mean, that's the TLDR of that deck. This is perfect for that because it's the kind of thing where if Uril does get aced, all those enchantments that hit the yard, if there was no totem armor on them or something like that, you're going to be able to just draw cards off all those enchantments. It's nice, cheap, mana value as well. I really like this card. I get it.
Is it reserve
and it
list?
is part of the reserve list.
Yeah, it is reserve list.
It is reserve list.
Oh my god!
So
nice
it's a $13 card. Yeah, I mean, this is a card that I hadn't seen before. This is a fun one.
I really like this next comment, Jake, because we heard this a bunch. At the $100 level right now, they would be buying the Secret Lair Heads I Win, Tails You Lose deck. I mean, this is something we've talked about in, I think, 2 videos up to this point, but I completely agree. We had made this list and made this video right before that was announced. Like, maybe the day it was announced was the day this video came out. Whoops. But yeah, this is a thing. This is an item, this Secret Lair Heads I Win, Tails You Lose deck, that this is not financial advice. If I just had $1,000 sitting around that I wanted to blow on MTG cards, maybe 10 of these is not the worst idea.
We did price out that deck after taxes and shipping. It came out to $260. I think if you take off the taxes on all those cards, it came out to like just above $220, something like that. Again, you're gonna have a lot of people that have this sentiment that are going to be buying these, and it's going to probably drive some of the prices lower on a lot of those singles in there. But you get a whole commander deck. It's tuned. It's how the designer would have wanted the deck to be. And then you get premium art in there that only appears in the Secret Lair, which is the entire model of Secret Lair. It's one and done art drops. Yeah, dude, it's a pretty wild product. It really is. And I can see people having that on their radar. It's on my radar. It's one of the products that I do want to pick up. When you look at the sea of Magic content that comes out, you're bombarded with Secret Lairs. You're bombarded with new sets coming out all the time that have draft boosters, set boosters, collector boosters, and then they have random promos that come out constantly at the LGS. All of that to say, massive amount of Magic products all the time. and you have to pick and choose. I like the deck, dude. I like the deck. I know that was a long-winded way of saying I like the deck. I do. Heads I win, tails you lose. It's an interesting direction. I can't wait to see what they do.
Zonini also said at $1,000, pick up 4 Zendikar Rising collector boxes. Jake, what do you think of this?
I like that too. I really do. We were just filming a video and I was talking about Zendikar Rising with you. Dude, Zendikar Rising is a great product. It's a great product. The collector booster specifically, because you get 3 on the low end, because 2 of the box toppers are seeded with the expedition lands in there, but you get to take a stab at Fetchlands, Cavern Souls, Ancient Tomb is in that product as well. Lots of very relevant commander cards alongside modal dual face cards, which we've proven to be very good in EDH as well. There's a lot of people that like being able to sometimes play a card as a land or sometimes use it as a specific effect. So yeah, that product is a home run, and I think it's really undervalued right now. We'll take this into consideration for the future, but some pleb says, why not budget $1 million, $1 billion, and $1 trillion? Because, you know, we all have that kind of cash laying around. We're going to take that into consideration, though. We take all feedback very seriously here at Chick Controller Magic.
Yeah, we do think everybody should be charging $1 million worth of MTG cards to your credit cards monthly. Max them out. When they're maxed, sign up for more.
That is financial advice.
Rudy on one of his burner accounts said that he'd score 2x near mint Gwendolyn DeCorky from Legends and spend the change on floppy tacos for the $1,000 budget. So Rudy, thank you for your input. Appreciate you.
Yeah, this card has this card is notorious for its very wild art. You know, players always bring up this card as being, well, first of all, the art will never ever get reprinted. Obviously, the card is reserve list as well. Yeah, pretty wild card.
Here's an interesting one, Jake. Rob Peterson said $1,000, maybe 4 or 5 duels if they can find bargains. $100, 3 or 4 of the allied fetches. That's an excellent place to put them. Fetches right now is where it's at. And $10, they said more Patreon support for Jajam. Why don't you go ahead and check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/ChickandJolerMagic. Get involved with the channel on a deeper level. I will say, Rob,
I'm going to make a note about them because they are on the nice list.
Yeah, getting a Christmas present this year. And I will say that after this video posted, Rob P put the money where the mouth is and went and upped his patronage to our channel. So thank you, Rob.
Really? That's awesome. Sidechosen says, at 1K, I'm buying 11 shares of Hasbro, or 5 shares, maybe 6 shares of PayPal. At $100, 1 share of Hasbro and a cup of coffee and breakfast. At $10, Goblin or Ninjas, because they're gonna be money in the next year. Probably talking about Kamigawa going on there. Yep. Yeah, you know, Hasbro executives, they're gonna love this. This isn't a bad spot to go.
Absolutely. Brought to you by Hasbro. We are not sponsored by Hasbro.
And
we're not shilling for Hasbro.
We are not shilling for Hasbro, but Magic the Gathering, they are cranking out the products. We all know that.
Meekle00 has a really good thought here. For $100, I'd buy 7 Esper Sentinels, and that's about 105. I think that this is kind of 6 1/2 dozen the other. We had another video, depending on when you're watching this, we have another video coming out soon about cards that right now we would not touch with a 10-foot pole because they are so expensive, overpriced, scarce, and primed to be reprinted. Jake, do you think that Esper Sentinel is at risk of being reprinted in the next 2 to 3 years, or is this just a card that's going to creep until it eventually, you know, we see it 5 years from now?
Well, it's interesting because Savannah Lion just below says Esper Sentinel will be reprinted. Better go reserve list, perhaps of Vesuvan Doppelganger.
Right.
You know, any other reserve list card. We're going to talk about some other stuff on this as well. When a card first comes out off of the secret layer list, certain cards that are so expensive that they won't put them in the secret layer because they don't want to shake people's faith in like the price of a card. Like cards like Mana Crypt, even though I think it would be an excellent card for a secret layer, I think like that and like Force of Will and stuff like that, we might not see that for a long time pop up in products like those. Esper Sentinel is one of these cards that I completely agree with Savannah Lion. I do think the card's going to get a reprint. I just don't think it's going to happen soon. It's too early. You can't just like print a card in a set that people can still buy. You can still go out and get Modern Horizons 2 draft boxes, set boxes, the collector boxes. They're all still on on Amazon and stuff like that. There's still local game stores that have those products. So until that product is like out of sight, out of mind, a couple years and down the line, I don't think we're going to see it. Maybe it pops up on the list, but we do know historically that the list doesn't really move the needle on a lot of cards,
at
right?
all. Like you're alluding to, it's a set piece of a set that came out that is still in print. It will be reprinted one day. I think that, you know, your money is probably safe for a little bit longer term than some of these cards that we've talked about, or some cards we've talked about in other videos that are primed to be reprinted. These aren't so much primed to be reprinted because they just came out. They are still in print. Leading into that still in print, Jason Coates says, honestly, I think I'd just buy 10 boxes of Commander Legends and sit on them because I imagine in a year or two I'd double my money. And this is exactly the case we're making. I think that same thing could be said of Modern Horizons 2, just to buy as many boxes of that as will fit your $1,000 budget and sit on them and just wait until it goes out of print. And then you've got a gold mine.
Sure. I mean, look at Modern Horizons 1, which came out a couple years ago. Modern Horizons 1, we haven't got a Ren and 6 reprint. We haven't got any of the like Force of Vigor, Force of why can't I think of the Blue Force that came out of that set? But you know what I'm saying.
We only
Force
have
of
Urza
Negation.
because they gave it a special card in the set itself.
In Modern Horizons 2, yeah,
Right.
they brought back some of those cards. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. No, Force of Negation did get a reprint in that same treatment. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting because, yeah, I think those are the kind of situations where we all know that Modern Horizons 2 collector boosters were more expensive than any other collector booster to date because they have Fetchlands, because they have all these cards. Those are super fun collector boosters to open, but oftentimes when you're opening one of those, it's really hard to meet that $35 to $40 price point that it costs to buy one single booster pack.
Jake Roger Fondren asked an interesting question. What would you buy with $10,000?
If I had 10,000, I had to spend it on MTG, I'd buy Power. Maybe a Mox Jet, dual lands. With $10,000, I'd make sure I had all of the ones that have blue. If I could find a super busted Black Lotus for $10,000, that's just like it's been run over by a car and you can't even tell the art on it.
Yeah,
I would probably go with something like that.
Yeah, I think I would be very similar to you, except I would make sure that Mox Diamond was in there somewhere for me, because I remember my child self owning a Mox Diamond at some point, but not having it at a certain point or anymore, and so I'd really just like to have one again.
I actually had a Mox Diamond as well from Stronghold. It was unplayed from when I was a child, and I sold it to Card Kingdom circa 2009 for store credit for about $40.
God.
Yeah, it was near mint, unplayed. I sold it along with a unplayed starter 1999 Grim Tutor as well. That was also nice and minty fresh. But what was cool is I used I think I got $80 for the Grim Tutor and $40 for the Mox Diamond, and that was like my first EDH deck. I bought a lot of singles with those.
Jake, you pointed this one out earlier in the video. 7TARDIS7 said $10 Lodestone Bauble, $100 Replenish, and $1,000 Gaea's Cradle. We got that comment a lot, and honestly, when we were planning the video, I said, Jake, what if we broke it down 10, 100, and 1,000? What would you get at each level? He goes, oh, well, every video can be $1,000. I'll buy a Gaea's Cradle. And I was like, now we got to mix it up. But then turns out all of you went down into the comments and said, Joel, at $1,000, buy a Gaea's Cradle. Yes, we get it. We just want to mix it up a little bit.
A lot of folks want the Gaea's Cradle. I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's an amazing card. But yeah, this is where I learned about Lodestone Bauble. I'd never seen this card before. It's very interesting. It's like this kind of thing where you can use it as like a disruptive play. You can get some lands back. It's an interesting card. It is part of the reserve lists.
Oh my God!
So yeah, it's around $11 and it is from Alliances. And then yeah, the Replenish is really good as well. You know, get all enchantments from your graveyard back to the battlefield. It's just an incredible card. I see the foil Alchemist Gambit is getting pushed by Ryan Dick, one of our patrons who is all in on Alchemist Gambit. Here's your moment.
Ryan,
go buy
$1,000 Alchemist Gambit foil, $1,000 for Stick Fingers, and $1,000 for $500
Your
worth
moment.
of Alchemist Gambits and $500 worth of stick fingers. There's your budget breakdown.
I would spend it all on hot wings. That's like where I'm at right now, but I'm also hungry. So again, not financial advice. Alchemist Gambit.
Wanted to end on this one right here from Mackenzie Long. Maybe the most pertinent and well-written comment that we got on the entire video. OMG, exactly what I needed! Special hot girls for you. Kissy lips. There's a link. And then kissy lips. Jake, will you read this script with me? Will you read the part of someone?
I would love to read the part of someone.
This is fine.
It says heck,
Be gone!
and then there's a bunch of Russian hashtags, but it's
There's-
really nice to have all of you here. It's been an absolute pleasure, and you know, we're just very enlightened, and we love to get the feedback. On a serious note, the series that we came up with, we got a lot of great feedback from you, and we're gonna tweak the series. I know that some of you were like, let's mess around with the title a little bit. Someone said, hey, add in a $500 tier. Jumping from 100 to 1,000's a lot.
I like
That's
that
really
idea.
good info, and I think that we're probably going to take that and run with it. So we love when you leave us feedback. Let us know what you want from this video as well. We are going to be watching.
Jump into our Discord if you'd like. The link is down in the description below. We're always hanging out in there and giving each other crap for whatever dumb singles anyone is buying at any given moment. Other than that, love you, mean it. We'll catch you later. That's the end of this video.
That's right. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Says heck.
Be gone.